What's up guys, Mark here, and today I'm going to go through how much a cup of coffee actually costs you over a certain period of time. So we're going to start with the cost of a cup of coffee. What is the cost? Let's say it's $4. Actually around here it's $5. And what we're going to do is set this to a blue italicized, which means it's an input. Then the frequency per day would be, I think, 1, right? So times per day, so you have a cup of coffee a day, that's 1, and then you'll know the times per month, which would be this times 30. Okay, since this is a calculation, we're not going to italicize it and make it blue. Now that we know that, that's the cost, total expense per month is 5 times 30, 150. Cool. Whoa, let me delete that out of the way. So that's the cost, and then we want to do a setup here, which is we do PV, which is present value. We do the number of payments, PMT. These are going to be expenditures, so they're going to go. They are payments of 150 that are going out. Present value is 0 because we have not made an investment here. And then the time frame is going to be the number of periods. So let's look at this on a yearly basis here. Actually, let's look at it on a monthly basis. So we're going to say, how much does the cup of coffee cost me over 10 years? And the 10 years is going to be an input. We're going to actually change this to a 10 because it's not a dollar amount. And so then the number of periods is just going to simply be the number of years times 12 because there are 12 months in a year, and this payment is happening every month. So we got to make sure that these are the same. Let's look at what interest rates are. So this is the lost opportunity cost of this cup of coffee. We could have invested it and earn a certain amount of interest. So interest rate, let's look at the yield curve will give us an example of what the rate is. So looks like currently they are quite low, actually approaching the danger point, which would be a negative yield curve. I can make a video about that later. Let me know in the comments below. So let's just say your safe yield is 2.5%, or the 10-year yield is 2.73%. Let's go to 10-year yield. So annual interest rate, or let's look at 10-year treasury. Okie dokie. So we're going to divide that by 12 because we are doing this on a monthly basis, and we'll make that a percentage. So FV means future value. What is the potential future value if we had not purchased the cup of coffee a day and we instead invested it at a rate of return of 2.7% annually? So we're going to click on the rate here. That's what rate is. NPR, number of periods, 120. Payment is 150. And the present value is 0. So this is the kind of lost opportunity cost. Let's actually make this payment a negative number here. So it's positive, so I'm going to make this a negative. So this is the potential that we could have earned over that time frame, but how much of this is interest? And the way that we look at that is we put principal, which is your balance, and the way that we calculate the principal is the number of payments, which is 150, times the number of periods. And now we can calculate what that interest amount is. So 2,638 of interest. Of course, your principal is really the large amount here that you would have saved. Now let's just think about different rates of return. What if it was 5%? Well, now the principal is still the same, but your opportunity cost of interest is 5,300. What we could do is create a sensitivity analysis here, and I'll just quickly do that for you guys. So what we're looking at is what happens to total future value with changes in the interest rate. Let's just add 0.5 point or 0.5 percentage or 0.5%. So 5%, and we'll drag that down. Now, the higher the rate of return, the more risk, so keep that in mind. And then over here, what we'll do is the time frame. So we'll go over 5 years, 10 years, and we'll just increment by 5. Just to show how this works over a long time frame. Okay, now that we've got this, we can just do a data table, data, what if analysis, data table. And so for the row, we're actually going to pick the column number here. We'll put that. So what this is saying is for the row, what is going in there. So we're picking this one, and then the column, we're actually picking the interest rate here. So what's going to happen is it's going to plug 5 into here, and then 1 into here, and it's going to spit out whatever the future value is. And we can actually validate this and check it. I'm going to make this look a little pretty, and also keep it closed. So how do we check and validate that this is correct? Well, we could put 5 in here and 1% and see if we get the same answer down here. So let's put 5 here, and let's put 1%. And yep, that checks out. How about we pick 25 and 4? 25 and 4%. Whoa, 25 and 4%. That gets us, yep, that is correct. So when we had our first original one, it was 10 and 2.7%. And we saw how, that led to this amount of money in the future. We could also do a sensitivity analysis of looking at just the interest rate if we wanted to. We would just do equals this, and then we could see what happens to the interest that we earn. So if we look at that, that's just the interest that we earn. Of course, at higher percentages, it would be a lot more. With the effect of compounding, you might also want to include what your age will be over that time frame. For example, my current age is 30, so then I could look at the age that I would be at these different time frames. Yes, looks like that is not carrying over, so I'm going to actually press F4 to lock it. Okay, so if I'm 45 years out and I decided to not drink a cup of coffee a day and invest it, earning 5%, and it was a solid 5% over that whole time frame, which may or may not work out, then I would have $222,000 of interest. But what would actually be the future value? Future value would be, all right, I'm 70 and I'm earning 5%. Looks like it's 261,000 at that time frame. Actually, I think I was looking at 75. Let's go back here to just the interest amount. Yep, so at 75 with 5%, it's 222,000. And how much is it total here? If I look at the total, $303. So, you're getting a lot of interest over that time frame because of the compounding effects. So let me know if you have any questions about this and post them in the comment section below.